I remember the first time I was in a luxury store, which by the way was Louis Vuitton. I felt quite uneasy and a bit nervous. It's like I didn't know how to carry myself. I know this sounds a bit silly, but I just found the whole setting quite intimidating. Fast forward to now, I no longer feel the same. I think sales associates are just normal people, just like me. And so I just need to be myself and not try to pretend to be someone I'm not. That said, I must admit, I do adjust myself when I'm in a luxury store. For example, I'll put more effort in my outfit just so I look a bit more put together. Now, I'm not suggesting we have to dress ourselves in designer brands from head to toe just to drop by Chanel or Hermes, but I do feel like I need to dress for the occasion, if that makes sense. So in this video, I want to share with you the things I personally wouldn't do in luxury stores. The very first thing I wouldn't do in a luxury store is asking a sales associate to authenticate a handbag or any luxury item for me. Having said that, if you happen to have a pre-loved Hermes handbag, you can actually have it sent to Paris for a spa, which of course you have to pay for, but the artisan will be able to tell if the handbag is authentic or not. As for the frontline sales associates, I really don't think they are trained for this purpose, and it's quite unlikely this is part of their job description as well. So I personally wouldn't approach any sales associates for this, but I guess if there's a sales associate that you know very well and they are happy to offer their expertise, then why not? I actually think buying secondhand can be a fantastic idea because you can quite potentially save a lot of money. And it's not uncommon for someone to come across a handbag in excellent or even brand new condition. However, there's always the element of authenticity to worry about. So you want to make sure you buy from a very reliable source or consignment service. Now, I know this is not always possible, but ideally, you want to go for pieces that come with their receipts or proof of purchase. And if you're still really concerned or you just want a peace of mind, you can always have the item authenticated by a third party. I mean, that's now a huge market for pre-loved luxury items, so looking for a reliable authentication service shouldn't be too tricky. Another thing I won't do when shopping in a luxury store is interrupting a sales associate when they are serving or attending to someone else, or put another way, jumping the queue. In most luxury stores, sales associates try to serve one customer at a time just so they can give you their full attention. And that, in a way, is the novelty of luxury shopping. So if you ask for help when the sales associate is occupied, they usually will gently say to you, "I'm sorry, I'm not available at the moment, but my colleague should be able to help you." In my experience, the customer service in most luxury stores is really good, so if someone is available, they usually will approach you quite promptly. I personally will only go shopping when I'm not in a rush, because otherwise it does take away the pleasure of shopping in the store. Something else I personally won't do when shopping in a luxury store is asking for tea, coffee, or champagne, unless if the sales associate offers. I remember when I bought my Hermes Birkin 25, my sales associate kindly brought out some champagne in celebration of me getting my dream bag. Then there's this other time when I was looking for a diamond ring at Hermes, and the sales associate was really generous with the champagne as well. Now, it is really nice to be able to take your time, have a drink, and look for your perfect handbag or bracelet. But I feel like many designer stores can get really busy nowadays. Now, I'm not sure if this is the same for everyone, but where I am, there's sometimes a long queue just to get in certain luxury stores, especially Louis Vuitton and Gucci. So the sales associates do have to be quite efficient with their time. The next one is something I've done on one occasion, but I certainly don't feel comfortable doing in every luxury store, and that is asking for discount. So years ago, I bought these Tots loafers, and in the store they only had one of the loafers on display and it happened to be in my size. I tried on and it was really comfortable. So I asked the sales associate if I could try the other side on. She brought out the other loafer and said to me, "Oh, these are actually the last pair in your size." And that's when I noticed the loafers were in slightly different colors. The one that had been on display was slightly lighter because of the light exposure. For some reason, it didn't bother me, but I did think it was a small defect. So I asked the manager if she was happy to give me a discount. To my surprise, she said yes, and she took like £70 off on top of the sale, which was about 40%. My husband thought I was crazy for wanting to buy these loafers, but you know what? The color actually evened out in like 4 weeks. So now you can't even tell it was a problem before. I've had these shoes for years and I still really enjoy them. So I'm actually really glad I asked for a price adjustment. But that was like a one-off occasion and I only did it because I felt like that was a valid reason for it. On the contrary, if I'm shopping at Hermes, Chanel or Dior, asking for discount is something I wouldn't feel comfortable doing. It might be just me, but I feel like if you're buying a fairly mainstream luxury item or something that's in quite high demand, there's really no reason for them to give us a discount. However, I've heard if you buy a very high-end luxury item, asking for price adjustment is not unheard of. For example, the Cartier love bracelet in the diamond pavé. This is not something I have on my luxury wish list, but when I was in the Cartier store, the sales associate did mention a small price adjustment is possible for such an expensive item. Let me know if you've ever asked for discounts in luxury stores. I personally feel a bit awkward asking now, but it might just be me. Something else I've stopped doing in a luxury store is asking the sales associate to reserve an item for me if I'm not entirely sure about it or if I think I need more time to think it over. This was something I used to do a lot, especially in Chanel. To be honest, I think I just had a lot of fear of missing out. Many times I knew deep inside that I shouldn't buy the bag or the wallet, but instead of being honest with myself, I wanted to hold on to the item for as long as I could. Personally, I've never had a regular sales associate at Chanel, so they usually would only hold the item for a day or so. Whenever a reservation was made for me, however, I always felt a lot of pressure and I was also more inclined to making the purchase. Fortunately, in the last few years, my mindset has changed a lot, and for me, when it comes to shopping, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. I mean, if I really have to debate about whether to buy something or not, it's quite a clear sign that I don't need or like the item that much. The next one might be a bit strange, but I don't think it's a good idea to wear a replica or a counterfeit item to a luxury store. Not like I ever support the counterfeit industry, but I wanted to mention this because I've seen some videos where bloggers or YouTubers went to a designer store wearing fake designer pieces because they wanted to see if the sales associates could tell and how they would react. I personally wouldn't recommend challenging anyone like that. I mean, the counterfeit industry is essentially a business of copyright infringement, not to mention other ethical issues related to the production of these items. For me, looking good doesn't always mean wearing designer brands from head to toe. I actually really enjoy mixing labels because I think it's a very fun way to personalize your outfits. In my wardrobe, there are certain areas that I like to splurge on, such as handbags and shoes, but there are other areas that I like to save on, such as jeans and t-shirts. And if I decide I want to buy something at a more affordable price range, then I'll consider brands like Uniqlo, COS, Kuyana, Everlane, Longchamp, and so on. I think a lot of high street brands do carry their very own unique designs, so there's no reason that we have to restrict ourselves to designer brands with everything we buy. Another thing I wouldn't do in a luxury store is paying cash. Not like I use cash a lot anyway, but seeing the price tags for luxury items are not cheap, I might as well take the opportunity to get some cash back, reward points, and air miles on my credit card. The next one might not apply to everyone because I was gonna say I probably wouldn't do filming in luxury stores. For example, those come shop with me at Dior, Hermes, or Chanel videos. But then on the second thought, I think as long as the blogger is sensible and it doesn't cause too much trouble or inconvenience to the sales associates, then it's quite okay. In fact, it might be a form of publicity for the brand, which is not a bad thing. To be honest, I really don't think there's a set of rules of how we should behave in a luxury store. The way I see it, sales associates are just normal human beings like us. So as long as we are kind and courteous, it will always go a long way, whether if we are in a Chanel store or in Uniqlo. So that's it from me. If you're new here, my name is Eileen, and I would love for you to subscribe and join our lovely community. Thank you so much for watching, and until next week, take care, and I will see you in the comment section. Have a nice day.